Hey, how's it going, everyone? Going to do a weekly update here shortly. Make sure I got all my ducks in a row. There we go. Hi, Jess. What's going on? All right, so let's do this. Let's make sure I got a good connection. Start off with a weekly update. Here's $1. Let's see. I'm seeing this little bottom pattern forming. A bottom megaphone. Thing is, we got a cross over the 8 over the 34 on a weekly chart. So I'm thinking this is going to take another leg down. Let's see what happens when it hits resistance and then backs off. That's my weekly anticipation, a downward effect off this megaphone, maybe back into support where our target was. Lots of resistance on the way up, lots of work to do. It's a weekly chart, could take months. 3 to 6 months after a breakdown. That's a price pattern anticipation for weekly charts, intermediate charts. Weekly close on S&P. Looks like we're coming back into support. As I mentioned before, watch a whipsaw off of this thing as it comes across. There's not a lot of support in this little area. The line is straight up. I'm looking for a slice through. Could keep going too into support. Make sure support holds. If the support holds, then watch another leg up. There's our measured move off the pattern break. The VIX still having trouble coming off that bottom. I got a double bottom showing. I got a nice inverted hammer, so watch out. This could get explosive. Looks like the Dow is a little topsy-turvy here on the weekly closes for S&P and Dow. So let's see who wins out. Maybe the Dow is just having a little trouble catching up off this break. Looking for a measured move off the break. Let's see if it does what the S&P did. Do a little 38% of the measured move and come back into support. I got a 2-bar pattern showing on the NASDAQ, so still bearish on this heavily. It's got to take out that top in the next couple candles, or momentum's going to drop. It'll make a lower high, and break momentum. Looks like NASDAQ's going to have some trouble. Crude off the support line. Looks like we made a double bottom on the close, holding support with a thin line of nothing. Let's see if it'll turn. If it turns, good. I got a cross at the 8 over the 34. Momentum's very tough here. It needs a lot of upside potential volume to get past all this negativity. Looks like it's going to take a leg down to me. Gold coming into support. We are working with a double top though. Support has to hold. Last line of defense is at 34. But this is what we were looking for. We needed it to come back into support. I got 1 try over resistance, 2nd try over resistance. Let's get a turn on this and get a 3rd try is a charm over and break that top there at 1300. I think we got plenty of support. I think it's a stair step into support on the weekly chart. Let's look at let's see how we closed on the hourly. Looks like a sideways pattern forming. There's our double top on there. Still showing a higher low double bottom on the 60-minute close. So maybe this is it. maybe next week's a good week to get past that 34 this time. Here's our first try. Get a second try across, and then watch that third try on the 60-minute. Breaking into previous lows is where we need to be. Riding up that next range. We did not hold 1260. That's a shame. Let's get back above 360 in a timely manner. Or we might take another leg down. That sucks. We're going to see a pop. This has been extended, and it's riding consolidation right over the 8 on the 4-hour chart. I think we'll get a pop. It's got to find a bottom first, though. Higher high, cross that 13, come back into support, keep going over the 34 on the 4-hour chart. Looks like we've got half the week for consolidation. Last part of next week, maybe we can get a pop over there into the next range. Let's take all this crap out. It's consolidating over the 8 right here. Hit resistance and it's consolidating. Watch support. Support has to hold. Those quick, hard, and fast drops, I'm thinking it's going to turn around on a dime here shortly, but got a lot of room coming back into support still. Watch previous low breaks on this 4-hour chart. I think it's just trying to find a bottom on the daily. I think we got nice support crossing over the 34s. It's doing just a little dance back and forth over the 34 until it finds that sweet spot. Let's see if we can find that pattern on a daily. Trade outside the pattern. Hold support. Wonder if they can take that down. I don't know, that's a pretty weak bottom pattern so far. It's a reverse head and shoulders, but that right shoulder sucks. Watch support. Here's our, if it wants to come down into the range, we got it all the way coming down on 1450 if it breaks down. It's got to hold that support. It sucks. Wonder if they can do it. Take this thing down. It's a flat bottom break. I think we got plenty of support. That's a rising tide right there. It's going to pop. Weekly looks weak. Monthly looks awesome. Let's see, where are we at? Come on, silver. Keep buying silver no matter what. Trading the market is speculative. Buying that physical is hard. I don't know, that's a flat bottom right there. I got a higher low, but it's weak. See what happens. Let's see. Copper coming out of the channel. Love those channels. Stair step into support. Bam, pop. It's got to come outside a little bit more. 1, 2, 3. It's coming back into support. I think we got it. That's daily. See the pop outside coming into support. That's your best buy. It could come down into support a little bit more, I think. But what we're looking for this week is the double back. The 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch. That's what we're looking for on copper. Straight outside that bottom channel. Gold silver ratio. There we go. 74 ounces, 75 ounces per 1 ounce of gold. It's a good buy. Bitcoin. You got the 2-bar pattern, double top working. If we look closer in, I'm seeing a consolidation price pattern, the reverse head and shoulders. I'm looking for this right shoulder to swing rapidly. Big sales, someone just punches in, you know, a bunch of sales, lets it come down, slingshot, bam! They buy it all back on the cheap. That's Bitcoin right there. 2-bar pattern for the weekly. I'm looking for a 1-2 punch on that weekly chart. The daily still looks weak, but I'm looking for a double back this week, and then maybe make a double top high, and then have to consolidate. The first time across, the second time across, and then watch the third time across. 3,000 is the mark, the top of that measured move. We went over that. Let's do that again because I erased my lines. Here's the top of the previous break. I got a measured move, not perfect, just it's a monthly chart, so it's just right in there. Oh, come on. There we go. So one measured move, right, which is about 2,100. I've done this many times. 2,000 is the emotional spot, which is probably better to do 2,000 than 2,100. But for measured move, let me take 2,100. And then there's our measured move. Second measured move on Bitcoin. Watch this thing consolidate within the pattern. See that break into resistance all the way back into the pattern in 1 week. That is awesome. Watch the double back this week. And I'm telling you that because of the price pattern on the 4-hour chart. Reverse head and shoulders. Watch that right shoulder come all the way back in and just slingshot right across that 3,000 mark. Actually, it'll come into 3,000, make a quick U-turn. Watch that third time across 3,000, and you're a winner. Get back. Let's break into the third measured move on this thing. Pretty sweet. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with the comments. I'm pressured for time. It's Father's Day. I'm not a father, but come on. I got a dog. GDX. So we held support on the 4-hour chart. We got a pattern forming. I left my lines in. Hold support. It could definitely come back in and make another opposing point. Maybe one of those quickies. See, here's the previous pattern. Say that the price came back in and made a double bottom here. That means we got another opposing point and a whipsaw cross resistance or cross support back over resistance. So watch it bounce, watch it come in and whipsaw past the previous low. You see it all the time. We got a bullish move here, bullish retracement here, and a consolidation here as it pipes in. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, pop. That's what I'm looking for. Weekly closes. I got an inverted hammer over support. Higher lows. It's holding support on that 8. Nice hammer here, starting it all off. Double bottom here, 2-bar pattern. Into resistance, back into support, higher low. Higher low, higher low. See how it pops, comes back into support, pops, comes back into support. Into resistance, pop, 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 bam. JDXJ is popping. It's going to go. Nuggets holding support on a tether. Watch for a nice double back on that one. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that would depend on how gold and silver close for the night for Monday morning open on this one. Make sure you hold support. Watch that same scenario for a deeper opposing point, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Watch this come down. Previous low here. Watch it whipsaw right past there and make another opposing point, deepening the pattern, but getting some strength off, going through previous lows and then back above through resistance. It'll get the thing running. Watch those whipsaws. It's a bottom pattern. Could it break down? Sure, why not? But hold support. Looks like JNUG is getting real price pinched off a double bottom. Resistance is very close right there. It's going to get a pop. I think it will. Watch support though. TNX balancing act right off of 34 on the weekly. Nikkei coming into support still. See the pop across the 13, back into support, pop coming back into the previous break. It's building. It's going to be bullish. It may come into support, but nice reversal. This line is from a intraday chart. And watch the break across the line. See the balancing act across above support. Weekly closes. Shanghai Composites trying to get through resistance, came back into support the previous breaks. Look at that nice hammer. Hammer, hammer. Pump into resistance, back into support. There's a hammer. This is bullish, I think. Watch for the double backs. Look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about. It goes through support, back up, creating a nice little whipsaw. So look at this as it builds. Pop into support. Pop into support. Pop into support. Bam, bam, bam. It's got a lot of work to do, though. There's a rejection on steel. But daily's holding. I would watch for the double back across that 8. Look at the inverted hammer here. So pop came back into support. That's a bullish retracement on the intraday charts. Pop the 8 back into support. I'm thinking it's going to come across. We'll see. Cliff, same thing. It's got to get across that 8 for support, build a little bit more, cross the 34, across into the $7 range as resistance is still above the 34. This may get rejected and break previous lows, just like on steel. Watch for previous low breaks. It could take another leg. That could be the start of the AB bottom. One bottom, and then it spikes low. And then we have the start of the reversal. So hold support on both situations. Hold support. AG, back and forth. Hold support. It's got plenty of room to come down a little bit more. Do a little tap, tap, tappy on the intraday chart. Look at that hammer. Woo! Here we go. That's the intraday right there on AG. Watch that cross across the 8. Hold support on that hammer, the green little hammer right here. The top of that hammer is your support, 765. Make sure you get a close above support. May do some head fakes into the range of that hammer. But cross across that 8 for a pop, come back into support. You might want to wait for that. I don't know. Buy it early, buy it late, doesn't matter. Just get some support. Break into previous lows, ride that range up. Could be a nice little pop on AG. They brought it down way too hard and fast. That's our head fake right there. The pop and then the crush. So here we have, let's see. This is a distribution. Or, yeah. Right? Yeah, distribution, accumulation, and then we're going to consolidate. So it's going to pop, consolidate, until we build. This is all accumulation right here, I think. Some of the big boys are bringing it, sitting on the bid. That's one thing about this situation here. You see this same action on Bitcoin cryptocurrency trading, but it acts differently because a lot of times they fool you and they're printing contracts as they do this. Whereas you can't print those contracts on the cryptos. You see this pattern, it's like a treasure. This can go forever as they print and dilute. USLV, crossing that 8 over support, just slightly over the 8 into support. Break into previous lows. Watch those resistance levels. Sell into resistance, buy back into support. Sell into resistance, buy back into support. Let it build, build, build. There's a nice chart, NAK. That's going to make a flat top break there. Cross the 34, back into support, same old situation. But watch the previous break on that. You can get a nice little pop. 163, previous high break. Into previous lows, into the range. So you get about 10 cents. That's the intraday chart. Weekly close. Pop, nice inverted hammer, into support, an inverted hammer right there. The pinch is in. Look at the price. Between resistance and support in a little range. Pop. It could break down, make a spike low. Looks good though. There's our balance point on URA. Hit resistance, double bottom, hit resistance. It's going to pop. It's building. Got a double bottom, cross over that 8. That'll be a nice pop for the weekly chart close. I got a reversal here. Watch the previous high break to complete the pattern at 160 on UEC. URRE still coming back into support. Looks like we closed below just slightly on previous lows. Not sure. Watch for the double back into resistance. Let it build. Looks like possibly next week. Forming a double bottom. If not, it'll break down for another leg. Spike low. Apple got tossed. I got a double top, lower high. Breakdown. Closing on its lows. Everything points to a bearish for next week. Watch for some drastic drops into support. I got support all the way down here at 115. So it could be a nice, interesting week there. Looks like Google held support for the weekly close. That could be considered a whipsaw. Almost. Could be, anyways, it could be a top forming. Spike high, lower high, breakdown. Watch momentum. See if it'll starts moving down past that EMA 8 for momentum reasons. I think momentum's dead on it, but we'll see. 2-bar pattern on the top. Actually, 3-bar pattern. Excuse me. BCN, I'm still in this. Waiting for a pop on the short-term chart, as I always do. Stuck at 132, looking for a 133, 134, higher high kind of situation. ETH, I was bearish on this. Let's see how the weekly close came in. Tonight is the weekly open for cryptocurrencies, approximately 5 o'clock my time, I believe. Yeah, about 3 hours from now. So that would tell me how I would play the next week, how it opens. If it opens in the range, hold support on previous highs at 122, 123. I got a support candle here. If that breaks down, watch out below. I'm working with a double top. Nice hammer. If it closes below, then watch out below as it turns into a hanging man. but it could make that nice sharp U and keep going. Watch for previous high breaks. BTS, still lower highs. I think it's still got room to come all the way back in, so watch out for BTS. No need to fight it. And that's it. Let me see what's going on here. Dollar yen needs to be under 109. I haven't been following the dollar yen. I can't find the correlation. It's just too chattery. I like to stick to just the chart on the individual charts, not trying to find who's up, who's down correlation. Yeah, I'm tired of the manipulation. That's why I'm trading cryptos. It's a free market. It trades very nicely. It's just a beautiful little trading atmosphere. MXL. MXL. What is that? Maxliner? Is that what you're looking at? I don't think that's right. Anywho's, maybe that's a Canadian. I don't. Let me see if I can try this again. Oh, there we go. Sorry, wasn't looking hard enough. Yeah, the same old situation. They're just dragging it in. Nice cup and handle. Watch the handles on the cup and handles. The handle on cup and handles can come down 40%. It could just come screeching on the top of that cup. Only when it breaks the bottom here that it crumbles. But those handles can always come back in, and it's so hard. I hate cup and handles, really, honestly. When they break out good, but it feels like they're not. It's not a high probability trade to me, and it doesn't seem like. Yeah, hold support. You got very weekly chart support, resistance. It's all the way down in support. So I would be buying it until it breaks down. That's what I would do. Buying to support, selling to resistance. That would have been a nice sell there. Support, sell. You got the double top. Willa deposit? Oh, I see. So they acquired a deposit and they're going to make some money, huh? Yeah, Jasper, you won't find anything like, what's his name? Michael Parsons. That balancing act, the geometry of it on the waves, you can figure out reversal points. I think it's quite remarkable. You won't find it anywhere else. I don't know his stuff back and forth, but you won't find anything more unique. Let's, since I got everyone like on here, let me see if I can turn on my miners. My medved. See if we can do that. Let's go through the top volume gainers. Give me a second as this loads. wonder why this takes so long. Let's see here. Let's take off the intraday chart. Monthly, weekly. All right, let's go by volume. Let's do some miners. Looks like all the high volume ones got GDX, same thing. It's in the price pinch. Watch out for a new opposing point, maybe, possible. See the monthly, though. Look at it coming into support and then that accumulation phase right here. I think we're bullish. It's just going to do its thing. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Oh, yeah, I got it. I thought I was sharing the wrong screen. Sorry. JNUG. Nice weekly chart. Popped across, came back into support. It's building. Let's see that monthly. Watch previous high breaks. Is this coming in okay? Can you guys see this okay? JNUG into support on the monthly. I got to pop across, come back into support. Watch previous high breaks on that intraday chart. You could get a nice little pop. All right, good. ABX looks like a previous low break. This is going to take another leg down, ABX. Plenty of support on the long-term chart. Let it come into support. Hang on a second. This is not working out here. It needs to update. Give me a second. There we go. There we go. Different story altogether. Here we go. Looks like a high case of volume on the downside. Watch the previous low breaks on UAI, AUI, Y, Yamana. That doesn't look good for that. That doesn't look good at all. GFI, look for the miners. Looking for a reversal on the miners. Not a lot of, looks, oh, there we go. Let me take this off because my internet's not supporting everything right now. Let's do it this way. GFI holding support. See those bullish moves. The pop across coming into support. Nice inverted hammer here on the monthly chart. Pop across coming into support. Looks like a right shoulder coming in on the weekly. Looks bearish on the, on the volume side. But that's the slingshot we're always looking for. Across that 34, that slingshot coming back into support and then let it rip. Those are the big boys sitting on the bid, bringing it down into support and then changing their big order on the ask and just buying it up. That's how they do it. Ego. El Dorado Gold. Let's check it out. holding on a tether. It's a bottom pattern. Look at that whipsaw forming on the weekly. Look for the head fakes. It looks like a bullish pattern, just giving you just a little trouble there. Making that opposing point through support on the previous lows, and then back above for support, creating a nice little atmosphere of the slingshot, the pullback as far as it can let it go. That looks bullish on EGO, the price pinch. Watch for that whipsaw coming back, the double back this week. Everything seems to be in a price pinch. GDX. Well, same thing. Watch that whipsaw come through support and back through the slingshot. Look at the monthly on GDX. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but if you're having trouble on day to day, just remind yourself how beautiful that monthly chart is. Cross over the 34, came into support, and now the accumulation. You see the 813 all price pinch. Look at that monthly candle closing so far. Pop across, coming in support. Pop across, coming in support. Pop across, coming in support. Over and over and over. Building, 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 and then pop. Inverted hammers everywhere on that monthly chart. New gold. Inverted hammer for the month so far. Just make sure you keep support in line. SBGL, I don't know why this is on the list. It looks like it's got volume, but it broke down. Seeing the rejection here on the 2-bar pattern. Let's keep moving. This one's been pulled back beyond belief. It closed a higher low. Look at the inverted hammer so far on the monthly. What day is it? Halfway through the month. All right. HL. Just brutalize some of these, I guess. Looks like HL's holding on by a tether. It's in a top pattern. That could be the right shoulder just being swung back. It's not perfect though. Watch out below for anything on the bottom side. Could come all the way back on the monthly chart. It says to 380. HMY, brutalize. Previous low break on the monthly chart. Watch out below, I guess. GSS still has support by the 34 on the monthly. Inverted hammer on the weekly close. Let's see what happens with that. Made a double bottom on the weekly. Next week, made an inverted hammer over support for that double bottom. Crossed the 8, got rejected, but made a nice little inverted hammer above the previous lows. That's a double bottom. Look for confirmation 75 and above. You might get a nice little pop. MUX it's consolidating. It's holding by a tether on the monthly. IAG, I don't see anything. IAG looks good, but it got rejected on the punch here. Holding support on the monthly here. Pop across, came into support. Look for previous high breaks. Tahoe's got a double bottom forming on the monthly. So these all need a lot of work for any topside breakouts. Everything's just got knuckled. Look at that. Miners got socked around. BTG's got a double bottom over the 34 on the monthly. Got the BAM, higher low over the monthly, confirmed. Watch for previous high breaks. You can ride this into resistance if you want, I guess. It's got plenty of support. I wouldn't chase it though, unless you got in on that bottom. SSRI. I'm thinking it's going to follow suit. Look at the volume candles. Doesn't look good for these. I got an inverted hammer on this one. Watch for previous low breaks, but I got an inverted hammer so far. Inverted hammer so far on the monthly. It's coming off a bottom on my RSI. Williams percent, I forget what it's called. But a pretty good indicator. The Williams percent R. It's just just a variation of a momentum indicator. Same as my 8, 13, and 34, which is much more reliable than anything I've ever seen. AG again, hold support. I already had that whipsaw, it looks like. What is that? Oh, that's nothing. That's my candle. Oh, never mind. No whipsaw yet. Looks like this thing's cranking up. Pop across the 34 into support, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The accumulation right here above the 34. It's priming. Look for the double back this week. Watch out for any head fakes down across support levels. CLF's still holding on the monthly. I was bearish, I think, unless we can get support across the 8. But look at the monthly. Across the 34 back into support, double bottomed. Looks like just a nice cup and handle off of the monthly chart. Pop across the 34, bullish retracing back into support. Support has to hold. JNUG, just what? I mean, look at the monthly chart priming. Look how sharp and tweaked that 34 is, straight down. All right, so this is where you got to pay attention, because just like on the top ends, when everything's so straight up, the support is thin. So just opposite, this straight line downward doesn't have any resistance on the way up. So can we see 34, 35, 40 in the next 3 months? I'm saying heck yeah. Do a 6-month contract on this. Watch for it. Sell that resistance. You got resistance at 30. You got resistance at 40. That pop across 40 is blue skies for heavens. You got to 80. That's a double right there. 50% rule at 180. This shit's crazy. But they knocked it back. And what was that, 2 months ago now? So they're coming to the dilution end phase here. Yeah, look at this. I mean, previous lows, honestly, up at the $300. Jesus. I don't know much about options, but I would buy a long-term option on JNUG. Maybe accumulate some options. You know, buy the dips for long-term. I don't know. That shit's crazy. The money market, I mean, it's everything could crash too, so everything can just fall apart too. So what are you gonna do? You win and lose all the time. GDXJ. I'm thinking it's bullish. I got too much crap going on and I forget how to delete. There we go. I cleaned up my monthly chart at least. So here we have the long-term down trend line here. Popped across the 34, came into support, got rejected, came into support. I got a higher low, price pinch. All these things are going to take off. Let's be a little bit more patient. The individual miners, though, they're getting slapped around. Seriously bad. Double top on GPL, that doesn't look good. Came across. Resistance came into support. Watch this one to make a nice little turn above previous highs. I'm looking potential to the previous highs, 58 at. See it popped across here, came into support, let it consolidate sideways above support. I think things are just getting knocked around pretty heavily. People are getting panicked, is why you can see these large volume scales. I mean, maybe they're just buying Bitcoin, saying the heck with these stupid miners. I know a majority of my time I spend on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. They just trade so much easier. But these are all bullish. I mean, they're all bullish. They're just getting knocked around like hell. The monthly charts have a lot of daily back and forth. So I'm thinking just getting knocked back. Someone's picking in all these, because look at the monthly chart. CDEs, Quarterline, mining. It's a nice U-shaped over the 34. There's plenty of support. This one has a left shoulder, right shoulder scenario. This is the pullback. These are the head fakes I'm always talking about. Watch that right shoulder head fake. Lots of support on these monthlies. I'm going to change this up a little bit because the opposing points came deeper. But it's still got support. These dailies are just getting knocked back. What happened? Where am I? Should be coming back. Interest rate hike. Everyone got panicked. That's why. Shouldn't panic in this market. This thing's going to take off. Watch the head fakes. A lot of the miners, the cheap, fleazy ones, aren't above the 34 yet. Watch the monthly charts. Gauge this as your power broker right here. Is your monthly miner above the 34 coming into support? Is it breaking down and then coming back into resistance? Monthly chart? Is it below the 34 building? I want right now in this market, I want to make the consensus is the bullish ones are across the 34 on the monthly coming back into support. Those are the ones you want to keep on the miners. The long-term support buys. Pick those up on the cheap, just like these jerk-offs. When they're selling on the weekly and the dailies, shaking everybody out. Watch that monthly chart come in. They're just no one watches the monthly charts. If you know where you're at in the long-term charts, you don't have to play the short-term games. This one has a 3-bar pattern over support. Looks like it's coming into resistance now. On the monthly, on the weekly, AVX, I don't trust this. I think it's going to come back into support. It's got a lot of ways coming in. It's going to come into support. They're going to stretch this thing. They're going to take another leg on this, bring it. Just like everything else last week, this big one, this bigger cap, it's going to follow suit, have a nice big dip coming on the monthly chart support line. I bet. That's my bet. 2-bar pattern right below resistance. That's a nice indication of a massive full pullback. Crossed over the 34, came into support, pulled back really hard, sharp, and hard and fast. Look, here's the distribution, here's the accumulation, and then the 2-bar pattern on the weekly. That's a nice pullback. Easy deasy. I'm making sure I'm still live. Nugget, you can see that distribution, the accumulation again, Same. Nice hammer on the monthly on AGI. It's holding support. Make sure you hold support. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right, still at 10 million shares traded. Look how sharp and fast that pullback is on PPP. This thing's going to whip past resistance. You probably get 100% bounce off of this on a monthly range. See, everyone's panicking. Here's a bullish one. Pass the 34 into support. Watch the whipsaw. Could happen. I wonder how hemp is doing. I was excited about this, but it fell off the map, so I didn't look at it anymore. Never mind about hemp. It is, once it turns around, though, it's going to be a nice market to be on. It's a nice consolidating chart. Watch for previous high breaks. GG. Here's a consolidation right under the 34. Is a consolidation above the 34 or right below it? Watch for previous low breaks, but it's got a nice price pinch forming. Could come back in, no problem. Watch my Williams %R come out on a weekly chart, come out of the red zone above 80. That's when you want to start looking at it on a weekly chart. That's when it's coming out of that accumulation. Nice bounce off of support here, but on the weekly it's closing in. It's just everything's just tightly wound up. I think once it's something happens, something's gonna happen. The regular markets are gonna break down like Apple and Google, and everyone's gonna flood to the miners, I bet. Or Bitcoin. Am I still live? I am. I'm live. Medical marijuana still holding on by a thread. Goro. Coming into support as well. Let's just run past these. AU's holding support. SLV, I would stay away from the comics. Their exposure, their printing contracts are just, their open interest is what I mean. Their open interest is just phenomenal. I would just stay away from that crap. I would rather trade a penny stock right now in the miners than the comics. First Mining Finance looks like that gap down pretty hard. Holding support on a double bottom maybe. Watch for the double back, filling in that gap. That'd be a nice trade. Let's go back to that. Watch for previous high breaks back into the gap. Can they knock this down 50%? One low volume too. It's not a huge volume spike on that downturn. Huh, that doesn't look good at all. I don't know what happened with that. Here's another distribution accumulation. I'm going to change this lineup. Make sure you hold support. Look at the back and forth, the little price pattern forming on the Williams SR. Watch it pop out of that range. I think you're going to pop out of that one. It's a weekly chart though, so it could take weeks, so be careful. I don't see anything exciting here. It's just everything's coming into support. There's nothing breaking previous highs. You see what I'm saying? Just if you're a long-term trader buying to support, on some of these. Make sure you're above the 34 in this climate. I think you'll do fine. Above the 34. Those ones that are bullish. Look at the accumulation over the 34. RIC looks primed and ready. That's the word of the week, I guess. Stay above the 34 on that monthly chart. See, look at NAK. Even though they got hit with a lawsuit, all this and that, got knocked back like that big week, that big month, 2-bar pattern, it's recovering. I'm thinking a bearish flag into resistance right now, but watch it come down. It's above the 34. So for months, this can consolidate above the 34. That initial pop across the 34 was that big runner on NAK last spring, I guess. That was a long time ago. Look at the bearishness of this one. Through, I keep a close eye on this. RSI is showing bearish. That's going to whipsaw right across there. Coming into support. And they knocked the hell out of that one too. Let's do a percentage gainer. Let's see what happens here. That's it. I think I covered everything. All the percentage gainers on the close there on Friday. There you go on the miners. Make sure you're above the 34. Hold support. Come and trade with us on the Bitcoins. So much easier to trade. It's so much more fun. They're trying to make it illegal, so I'll just tell you to be cautious, but don't put anything in there you can't afford to lose, that kind of deal. But if you want to do trading the way it's meant to be, I think the cryptocurrencies are just absolutely phenomenal. I have so much fun with it. They do what they're supposed to, when they're supposed to. The probabilities are in your favor. And everyone talks about bubbles, but that's a natural phenomenon in free markets. That's what people are confused about. The bubbles in the equities are created by they're printing, they're diluting, they're creating these bubbles through debt and margin. Naked shorting, they're front running, they're naked shorting, they're sitting on the bid with unlimited amounts of contracts to print. It's a bunch of crap. I'm tired of that crap. Trying to figure out when they're done diluting. Yeah, try to figure that out. I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate every one of you. I don't even know how long this video is. A few hours long. I'll see you. Thanks, everybody.